Hello, this is Jimmy Demora Public Square. I'm standing here in front of what is called the water feature. The water feature has this spouts where the water is spouting up, and then the water collects in this pool in here, and our youths come in here and wade in the pool and enjoy themselves. Just as a reminder, we also had a waterfall and a splash pool in the old 218-year public square that was destroyed. So we'll move on to other areas in the park. All right, I'm standing in front of the new cafe, the Reball Cafe. This has been a new feature in the Jimmy Demora Public Square. The old public square had no cafe. So this cafe, you can come in, you can get your food inside, and they've got benches, and you can come out and eat outside. And you can, as you can hear, they also have music blaring out. They also have sports activities. They also have a table tennis table so that people can come in and enjoy themselves. I'm standing in front of this art wall called Meet Me in the Square, where the proponents of the project want people to come in and take their selfies. So here I am. Welcome, Jimmy Demora Public Square. Jimmy, 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 Jimmy. Jimmy Demora Square, mired in corruption. Jimmy, Jimmy Demora Square, welcome, welcome, Jimmy Demora Public Square. All right, I'm standing at the base of Terminal Tower, Tower City. So as when somebody comes out, this is how the new public square, Jimmy Demora Square, looks like. This is one of the pedestrian crosswalks. We have 15 of these crosswalks all around the perimeter. And there you can also see how the traffic is getting held up. And when this traffic is held up, it's adding to the operational costs of the RTA and adding to their, cutting down on their budget. And as a result, they are cutting down on service and raising fares. Well, we are looking at a map of the new public square, also known as Jimmy Demora Square, and this map shows the layout of the new square. We have this green area in the front. We also had a green area in the old area. This is the Superior Avenue going across, only to 4 lanes of bus traffic, no cars. This was the pool. This is where was the cafe. This is the Soldiers and Sailors Monument. This is the Moses Cleveland statue. This is the statue of Mr. Johnson. We look at them, and then these are all these green areas. Some of them they call gardens. And of course, there was no shortage of gardens, trees, flowers, and shrubs in the historic public square that underwent a senseless destruction in March, starting in March of last year. All right, we are looking at the Key Bank Promenade. This walkways in the new public square, also known as Jimmy Demora Square, have been named after people who made contributions or foundations who made contributions. So Key Bank Foundation made a big contribution, and this promenade has been named after it. The best thing in the new square is that these names are not conspicuous. They have just been literally written on stone in either on the sidewalk or on top of the concrete benches. So they're not conspicuous and nobody can see them. But anyhow, I'm sure a lot of people would like to thank Key Bank and the other donors for the contributions that they made to bring up Jimmy Demora Public Square. All right, so we are looking at one area in here which has shrubs, flowers, trees, and it's called a garden. And there was no shortage of gardens in the old square. This is surrounded by benches. Some cases we have plain concrete white benches, and some cases they also have those wooden benches at the top, so as to make people more comfortable. But this is all built with cheap materials, concrete, and the old public square, the historic public square, had high quality granite benches. So this public square, despite the fact that they tell us they spent $50 million, it really has been built on the cheap. A cheap Jimmy Dimora public square. We are now standing on the sidewalk of Superior Avenue. This will carry east-west traffic for RTA buses, no cars, and we have 8 bus shelters. And while Public Square opened officially on June 30th, the RTA is still closed. I think this is because the Republicans are coming into town starting July 18th, and they don't want to create a bad impression about buses going through our public square, so they have closed the RTA to any traffic until the Republicans leave town. And for every day RTA is closed, it's costing them $7,000 per day in additional operational costs. All right, I'm standing in the middle of the new Superior Avenue. This will carry east-west traffic for only RTA buses. No cars will be allowed in the new public square. There are 4 lanes for RTA buses, and we've got 8 bus shelters. And any day the traffic does not run through, is going to cost the RTA $7,000 per day. And the operators of the park are telling us that anytime they want, they will close the Superior Avenue to RTA traffic. So while traffic will go through, it is still going to cost, anytime it is closed, it's going to cost the RTA, which ultimately means it is going to cost RTA users in reduced service and increased fares. So this is basically a project which is a bogus project, good for nobody, not good for RTA riders, not good for the RTA, not good for anybody else, but only for the rich and the powerful who are going to benefit from a rise in real estate values. We are standing in front of this new green area. It's an artificial hill. On the east side, we have steps so people can sit out there and watch any performances or concerts, or just sit out there. And a lot of green grass. It has been named after the Gun Foundation Green, which contributed money, gave a donation to the park. So this green area is, we also had green area, a lot of green area in the old public square, about half the size of this green area, but nevertheless it was still there. So we find users in the park, but not as many as the 14,000 people who live in downtown Cleveland. You can hardly see anybody in here. You can count the people on your hands as to the small number of people who are using the park on any given day. Well, here we are on the north side of the new public square, also known as Jimmy Dimora Public Square, standing in front of the statue of Tom L. Johnson. He was one of Cleveland's most beloved and progressive mayors from 1901 to 1909. And his statue, after it was put up a few years later, was the focal point of all protests, demonstrations, and political activities that used to take place in the old public square. Now the designers of the new public square, well, it looks like they gave no thought to the historical fact that this was an area of a lot of political activity. So instead of having political activity in here, protests and demonstrations, they have changed the speaker's platform to near where they have the statue of Moses Cleveland. So this is a big break in tradition, and we'll have to see how it catches on. But I think it basically shows a great disrespect to to Cleveland's historical traditions, where we had a progressive mayor and nobody can come in here and carry out a demonstration. Of course you can come, but not the kind of crowds that this statue used to attract when it was in the old public square, and as everybody remembers, it was in the northwest quadrant. So again, a complete negative point in the new public square is the location of the statue of Mr. Johnson. Well, we are coming to the close of this presentation. I'm standing in front of the historic Soldiers and Sailors Monument. It opened in 1896, July 4th, and it honors our soldiers and sailors who took part in the Civil War. Well, this monument was not touched except all the elegant stone that we had around the monument was removed, and we had very elegant flower layouts and trees. They all got destroyed, and they have put in new flowers and new shrubs and new trees. So in closing, I want to say welcome Jimmy Dimora Public Square, a project, a bogus project, not good for anyone, not good for the RTA, not good for our citizens, only good for the rich and powerful in Cleveland, Ohio, who are going to benefit from a rise in property values and something that is going to be achieved at the expense of additional operating expenses to the RTA, which is cash-strapped. And so basically the RTA and the people of Cleveland are subsidizing this project. So welcome Jimmy Dimora Public Square. And next week, our Republican friends are coming into town. I want to wish them all the best, as does every Clevelander. We want our Republican friends to come to Cleveland and have a great time. We are a great and fair and beautiful city, and we want to welcome our guests as gracious hosts. So please come in, look at our museums, look at our Playhouse Square, come and visit Jimmy Dimora Public Square, look at our malls, look at our architecture, visit our restaurants, and have a great time. So welcome Jimmy Dimora Public Square, and welcome Republicans 2016. This is Satinder Paul Singh Puri signing off. Have a pleasant day.